How on earth are you still here? My name's Charlie, and what are the chances you're listening to All Things Life with Charlie?
I was like, yo.
Well, yet again, I'm with another guest. This guest is one of my greatest friends, Grace. So if you want to try and introduce yourself and just sort of say what uni you go to and what course you do.
So I go to Bath Spa Uni and I do media communication.
So this episode is being done remotely because Miss Corona, Grace is on Zoom and isn't part of my social bubble. So now, as a lot of you know, I went to the University of Lincoln for 8 days and hated it. But the people I met along the way were just amazing. But the reason I wanted to chat with Grace on this is because we went on to do the same course at different universities, but I chose to leave and Grace is still doing uni. Obviously you're not at uni, but you're still doing it. So A-level wise, I had picked media studies, photography and English literature. And then Grace, which ones did you pick?
Spanish, English Lit and Sociology.
So we had already started doing English literature together, but for sociology you just couldn't get along with it. So I said to you, oh, why don't you just maybe join media, see if you like it. Because for some reason I sort of did think you would enjoy it. I thought, yeah, because it's all sort of the creativity side of it as well. I thought, yeah, you might sort of gel with it. So you went for a taste. You came downstairs for a taster day, didn't you, or taster lesson? What was we was doing? I Daniel Blake, because you'd missed 2 set products. But what your initial thoughts for media? What sort of gelled you towards that?
I don't know. Obviously my dad, he works in the industry. So I kind of had like that knowledge of it already. But I loved the teacher. I loved that it was such a small class, so I knew we would get like equal amounts of help where we needed it.
Yeah, there was only 3 of us.
Yeah, and it just felt like
lesson.
such like a difference from sociology. Like I can't explain like the pressure I felt from sociology just because I didn't like the teacher and stuff like that. And then I moved down to media and I was like, this is what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't explain it. I saw enough of the course to be like, for that to sway me, but it just felt so much nicer than what I was originally doing. And
that's the thing, like, I think the teachers that made it, like, because Miss Stanbury was so different to Mr. Bailey, and they had quite different sort of work styles, but it was just amazing. It was nice to have that sort of difference from like going into one and then having, and then with the set products that we done with each one was just perfect.
Yeah,
it has such a special place in my heart. So for people that went to school with Grace and I, a lot of you would know that if you was to think about who was going to go to uni and stick at it and flourish in it, most 9 times out of 10 they probably would have said me. And if there was if we had to think of someone that would not think of someone that would have drop out, but if you was to compare both of us, everyone would have thought it'd been you, but it's not.
Yeah.
It was me. So that's sort of quite a bizarre concept to think about because everyone thought I'd stay, and in all fairness, I absolutely hated it.
It was really weird actually because when you were already home for uni and then I came back and we went into school because we visited our sixth form teachers, and when I told them how much I loved uni, they told me that like they were genuinely shocked because I'm a bit of an emotional person. So they thought that me being away from home and stuff, I wouldn't like it. But they thought Charlie would absolutely thrive at uni. So yeah, I think people were a bit shocked at how different our experiences were.
Yeah, honestly, it just wasn't for me. Like when I think about it now, it just wasn't for me. But what were your first thoughts about uni? Like before you started, what were your thoughts about it? Like what did you think you was getting yourself into?
Growing up, I've always wanted to go to uni. Like I've never thought, nah, I'm not going to go to uni. I know so many people have, but just to me, I don't know. It was just such a natural thing for me to do. So as like quite an anxious person, it was quite weird because I wasn't nervous at all for uni. It felt so normal for me to be doing it, and I'd met the people that I was going to be I'd spoken to the people that I was going to be living with on group chats, and I don't know. I woke up the day I was moving to uni and I was so fine. Like I was so positive, like everything. It was so weird. I can't even explain it.
See, I think that's the main difference between us. So when I started uni, because I started a week before most people did, and for me, the night before I'd gone out for dinner with my family, and I was like, to my mum, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I moving away when I have such a nice life here? Like, what am I doing? And then my mum was like, well, why did you do all this? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. It was a good idea at the time, and that's actually happening. But even like the first day, I loved. I moved in, it was fine. On the first day, I didn't think, oh my God, I'm going to leave in like 7 days. That wasn't the thing at all. But yeah, I think I'm glad I made the gutsy decision because it's clearly worked out well. Yeah. So someone actually, because obviously we've done a Q&A, one of the questions was, is it easy to make new friends? So even I can answer that. Within 8 days, it's so easy because you're sort of thrown into this sort of turmoil with these people, and then you're sort of forced to gel, and it works. It really does work.
Yeah.
So like, what is that the same with you?
Oh, definitely. Like I got unbelievably lucky with the people that I lived with in first year. Like we just got on so well, and in the first week, it felt like we'd known each other for literally years. I would suggest like trying to find group chats or Facebook pages of people that you're going to live with or people in your accommodation. It does make it that bit easier. But honestly, if you think you're not going to make friends, I can guarantee you there is always, at uni, there's always someone there. Like, always.
And like, I remember one of the girls in our flat just didn't speak to any of us. Like, even when I came back to visit in February, she just didn't speak to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And she didn't gel with anyone in the flat, which isn't to say that she didn't gel with people in a society that she joined. She might have gone to a social, or people on her course. It could literally be anyone. People that you met in the library. It's just because the thing is, what people forget. It's the same with like starting year 7 or starting sixth form. You're all in the same boat. Okay. A lot of people have moved miles and miles away from their home to go to this uni. Don't feel like you're just isolated in your own feelings, because I'm sure so many people feel like that as well. And if that is how you feel, I don't know if it's the same with your uni, because I know with Uni of Lincoln they had a student welfare sort of place and a student wellbeing place as well. So obviously if you want to talk about your feelings and homesickness, they're literally there for that. They have like talks and things like that. Or if you're worried about your course, so something university-wise, not yourself, there's people there for that as well.
I think something that's quite comforting is you're not like on a different planet. You're a few hours away. If you really need to be picked, struggling that much, someone will come and get you. You can get on a train. Like it's not the end of the world, and it can feel so lonely. But if you think about it, no one's going to want to spend their uni experience on their own. If on that first day of your course you go up to someone and you're like, oh hi, can I sit with you? They're not going to say no, I want to sit on my own. Yeah. They're probably wanting someone to talk to them. So you just have to be quite like proactive in that sense. But it's easier than it seems before you do it.
Literally. So what were your thoughts on your course? Obviously, like you said, you went to do media and communications, and then I went to do media studies. So obviously slightly different in name, but they probably do cover the exact same things. Yeah. So you obviously, the thing is with you, Grace, is the fact that you had to do an interview for yours. For your uni, for Bath Spa, you went and had to do an interview. So you actually had that bit more of an insight than some people sort of do already.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's quite bizarre for me because before I even did media at A-level, I was like, I'm going to go and do English, Lit and Spanish at uni. So it was weird for me to be thinking that for a year and then suddenly apply for unis, and the only course I'm looking at is media communications.
Yeah.
I like the course because it's more like promotional PR advertising than it is like films. And I mean, I've still done television and stuff, but that's the sort of thing that I want to get into. So I think that's what made me want to choose this one, and the lecturers were just so lovely. So
But that's what you like.
Yeah.
What you've just said there. So your course entails like PR, marketing, advertising, things like that. So you've got to think. Say if someone wanted to go into advertising, but they can't find an advertising degree. Maybe look at the courses that are linked to it, linked to what you're interested in, and then take it from there. Because who knows, you might end up if you solely wanted to get into marketing or advertising, probably best. If you want to get into advertising, and you thought there's no advertising here at Bath Spa, look at something that's linked to that. Look at the course outline, because I think that's the most. I think that's everyone needs to do it. I think you'd be quite silly to not go to uni and not read the course outline, and then you think, oh, actually, I could do this course and it will help me get into this.
Yeah.
So it's not the be all and end all, really. But I remember, I can't remember, it might have actually been, it was probably the Uni of Lincoln that actually phoned me. So every now and then, maybe once a month, from, when do you firm your choices? May? March?
It was literally a year ago the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, so that's it, sorry. When you get all your options back, which is about March.
Yeah.
From March until about August time, I was getting about one call a month from the Uni of Lincoln, and it was a student phoning me saying, oh, have you got any questions about anything? Because they were like, oh, I'm a media student, like second year, and they were like, I was wondering if you've got any questions. And I don't think I asked them any questions, only for the fact that I didn't have any. But like, if they call you and ask you questions and you've got a question, they've probably heard so many bizarre questions, like don't even like fret about it.
100%.
So your thoughts before the course, what are your thoughts now in your course? Are you still enjoying it?
I love my course. Like, it's so weird because all through GCSEs and A-levels, my teachers will back me up on this. All I did was moan. I was such a moaner. I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And at uni, I just absolutely love it. And I think that's reflected in my grades because I'm so passionate about it and because I enjoy it so much. I'm getting better grades than I did at school.
Yeah. And maybe because you're paying over £9,000 for it. So then, you know.
That could have something to do with it, yeah.
So, yeah, like, because obviously I don't do anything media related now as much as I'd probably like to. The only media related thing in my life is probably this podcast. I don't do anything like with regards to media studies. So reading your essays and hearing about what you do at uni fills me with such joy because I don't have any of that in my life anymore. So hearing it secondhand, I really enjoy it. And like reading your Love Island like article essay, I just loved. And I was like, oh my god! And it's like bits that I thought, oh my god, like yeah. Oh, and the way I was reading it was like the way you wrote it, and like it was like you're talking. It was just amazing. I just loved it. I love like looking at your work and things like that. A major thing, obviously, we've just spoken about it briefly, but your uni friends. So I've met a couple of them. Yeah. I met two of them when I went to visit you at Bath in September, and I just thought they were such lovely people. But yeah, so do you think the friends you're with now, are they friends for life? Is that sort of how you're looking at it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're the sort of friends that I think we live in such different places, but like you don't have to speak to them every day to be able to know that they're there for you and you can speak to them like about anything. And we're also similar. We get on so well. So yeah.
And it's nice that you do nice things together as well. Like
yeah, that's the thing. We all like nights out. Like we all love a night out. We all love drinking and stuff. But then we will happily just every night of the week sit down in the lounge and watch films and TV programs together and stuff. Like we're all just it's so easy to live together. That's what I love about it.
But yeah, so when I went to visit, so obviously, like I said to my uni friends when I went up in September, because I think I went to Bath and then 2 weeks later I went to Lincoln. In all of it, I've actually visually seen them. It works out to about 2 weeks, like 14 days, which I just think is mental, seeing as they're such amazing people in my life. But yeah, like you said, if I had a problem, even now, I'm living back down in Watford. If I had a problem and needed to phone one of them at 2 a.m, I know they'd be there straight away. And then that's, like I've said before, like in my friendship podcast, it's not about the quantity of time you've spent with them, it's the quality of the person. which I can see with your friends as well, because I think your friends are just lovely, lovely people. And my uni friends, like I said before, these people didn't have to stay in contact with me. I left, and then that could have just been it, like, and that's it type thing. But they chose to invite me back, which I think is just really sweet.
exactly.
Anyway.
Sorry,
No,
I was just going to say, that's the sort of friendships that you make at uni.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I think it's just such a different type of friendship. Like, you're all a bit mature, that bit more mature. Do you know what I mean?
But then the thing is,
where like you.
What I was going to say is the difference between uni and school is, like I said in my friendship episode, they're not convenient friends. They're not friends that you've made out of convenience. They're friends that you want to see and you've chosen to live with in second year. They're friends that you can spend the time with, because you can make friends anywhere really, in your course, in your societies, anywhere. But you chose to stay with these specific friends, and that's just not out of convenience at all. You don't sort of feel, oh, well, I might as well just live with them. You sort of chose to do that, which I think is the most amazing thing about it all. Yeah. So where did you stay in your accommodation? What was your accommodation called in Bath Spa?
Gardens, and it was on campus.
So it was on campus, yeah. So mine was called Signet Wharf, and yours? Did you say yours was like a townhouse, like?
Yeah, so it was more like a house than like a big block of flats.
Yeah, and how many lived in your accommodation?
There was 10 of us, but then it ended up being 8 because some people decided to move out. But
so for me, it was in Signet Wharf. It was, Jesus, I think it was 12 floors, I want to say. And I think we was on floor 6. No, we was on floor 8, because it was A16. Yeah, so it was floor 8. And yeah, there was 10 of us. No, there wasn't. Yeah, there was 10 of us. Yeah, there was. Yeah, I'm lying. There are 10 of us. And I keep in contact with 1, 2, 3 of them? 4 of them. 4 of them. No, 4 of them. So that's what I mean. Like, out of the 10 people you live with, you may only want to move out with 2 of them. Like, don't think in September thinking, oh my shit, I've got to try and find a 10-bedroom house, because we're all going to move in together in second year. But yeah. So what was your room decor? Because I think someone on the Q&A basically said, what did you take to uni? Because I know you took a lot of stuff. And I did. I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. We thoroughly enjoyed every second of that.
Yeah. My room decor, everything was pink. Like, anyone that walked into my room would be like, oh my God, that's a lot of pink. But I loved it. I don't know, it was like, well, what I have to say is accommodation is so stressful. Like, for me, it's the one thing that I get so wound up about. Especially first year, I had my heart set on this accommodation, and I was like, if I don't get this accommodation, I'm not going to uni.
I was the same.
When really, I was being silly, because I didn't even look at any other accommodations. Now thinking about it, I probably could have lived in town, and it would have been easier for nights out and stuff. So that's the sort of thing you have to consider.
Yeah, completely.
But me and you did take a lot of things.
We did.
Probably too many. I ended up with a lot of things I didn't actually use.
But you say that, and basically, in supermarkets you get those massive trolley cage things that they put all the boxes in. You got given one of those, and you put all your stuff in that, and it had a shelf. So I put everything fitted in there. I think everything fitted in there, and then my dad was holding my suitcase, and then that was it. But you've got people, because they have lids on top, people with the lids open, two roll pallets, just trying to get into lifts, and I was thinking, oh my God. I said, even I didn't bring that much stuff, and I thought I'd proper. So God knows what they had been taking.
Well, my dad was embarrassed taking me to uni, because there was people moving into my flat in minis, of the car, minis, and they had space left over. Me, we were in this huge car with a roof box. No, I couldn't fit a piece of paper in the car. It was that packed. Okay. And he was like, "What are you? Why do you need this much stuff?"
So my dad's got a medium-sized car. So he has a fairly big boot, and he had to put one of the back seats down, so that all those boxes were there. And then I had to have my duvet on top of me. Bearing in mind, it was the start of September. It was actually really hot. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm dying here. Yeah, but did you forget anything? Because that's another thing that I was going to think about. Did you forget anything? Did you forget to take anything?
Honestly, my mum was more prepared than I was. She'd been
Yeah.
watching YouTube videos, she'd been Googling, so I don't think my mum would have let me forget anything. The one thing I did take was an iron and an ironing board, and I can tell you that I've never, in my nearly 2 years at uni, ever wanted to iron something.
Have you had to?
So, no.
A really nice one. Yeah, see,
I mean, I was out with creased clothes. Don't really mind.
I had literally, so my mum made me a letter for 30 days while I was at uni. Obviously, I think it came to like the 6th day, but she forgot to give them to me. So on the 6th day, they got posted to me, and I think I just opened them all up that night while my mum was on FaceTime to me. And then I forgot my glasses, which was actually quite a big thing. I left my glasses in my dad's car, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like, I'm gonna have to go to Boots. I'm gonna have to get like a shitty pair. But no, then I left subsequently after, so it's fine. But I didn't forget anything. I thought I would be like, oh, I'm gonna forget like my pots and pans or things like that. The only thing which I think people need to think about, because I'm guessing you did it as well, is do a food shop. Maybe before.
Yeah, I did that.
See, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I literally, because then my mum and my dad were like, do you want to go us to come food shopping with you? I said, no, it's fine, just like leave it, because I don't know. I'm sort of, my head I had such a bad headache. My head, it was just such a stress. So then I just ended up walking, got lost, and found a cost cut and just got like little bits there. And I thought, starting from next week, I'll end up doing a proper shop. But yeah, but like you said, like your mum watching vlogs. I think that is such a major important thing to do, is watch vlogs from your uni. So like for me, I watched someone called Charlotte Emily and one called Luke Birch. Luke Birch actually went to do media at Lincoln and stayed in Signet Wharf, so it was sort of like a win-win. I loved watching his videos, because it was just so easy to follow, and it was sort of getting insight into what I was sort of doing. I'm guessing you was the same.
Yeah, with me, I don't think there was anyone in particular that went to my uni and was a YouTuber or anything, but I always YouTubed, I don't know, room tours, so like gardens, accommodation, room tour,
Yeah.
to see what it would look like, and or even just Baths by Uni vlog, and you can see people walking around the campus, and you just get, if it is before the open day, or for example, it's now and you can't go to an actual open day, it gives you such a better insight of what your life will look like when you're there, sort of thing.
Yeah, like I've said to my brother, like for his uni that he's looking at, I said, so we've watched a couple of vlogs, and then we sort of looked at his accommodation, and we were just sort of just planning, just like, because we were bored, like what's the nearest supermarket, but the biggest, obviously with the rising social media, uni TikToks are a new thing, and I think they're really good. Obviously, sounds like we're ancient, but when we went to uni, when we started uni, or when we were both going to uni, no one used TikTok. No one really used it. So, but now everyone does, and it's such a good thing to look at. Because I just done it on a whim to see if there was any for my brother's uni that he wants to go to, and there were loads. So, maybe look at that as well if you're thinking of going to uni. But another major thing as well that we want to compare, because we went to sort of quite different unis and quite different areas. So you went to Bath Spa, which is obviously in Bath, which is down is it down south, or would it be just sort of to the side of where we are now?
Yeah, literally just like straight across. Like I always say up, but I don't go up anywhere. It's just across.
So what's that? West.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I think it's the west, isn't it?
Yeah, like the west of England.
I don't want to sound stupid, so.
So you let me do it instead. You let me say it.
Yeah.
And then Lincoln is up in the county of Lincolnshire, and it is just sort of north of the Midlands. I guess. I think it's near Leicester. I want to say it's near Leicester. Let's go with that. But social life wise and things to do. So, because obviously I was only there 8 days. Take a shot every time Charlie says he's been there for 8 days. But the only thing I can think of is Steep Hill, which I walked up by accident. But then Lincoln is also renowned for being extremely flat. So you can grow lots of nice veggies there. But that's the only thing I can think of. And like good nightclubs, which is significantly cheaper. But what about Bath Spa?
I mean, Bath is quite a touristy place anyway, so you could literally just Google it and a huge list of things would come up. But obviously you've got the Roman baths, you've got museums, the Royal Crescent. The Royal Crescent is a nice place to just, if you're going in the summer, to just sit and have a picnic.
Was it just amazing?
It's such a nice, it's beautiful. Like, honestly, it's the most stunning part of Bath. There's so many places to walk in Bath. Obviously you've got the like actual town with all the shops. Honestly, it's just, I love living there. It's the best place.
It is
ever.
the most beautiful, because obviously I've only visited it once. It's the most beautifulest, if that's even a word, place I've ever been to in my whole entire life. I thought it was just amazing. But yes, if you've watched, just a little side note, if you have watched the Netflix series Bridgerton, it basically, they say it's set in London, but because we've both been to Bath, we know that it's filmed in Bath. So I was very much like, because you told me to watch it, and you were like, oh, it's set in Bath, and then I thought, oh, okay, like I probably went, and then there was the Royal Crescent, and I was like, oh my god, now they're saying they're in London. And I think it's because we know that because we live in London, or just outside of London, like we know exactly that isn't London. But yeah, oh, it's just beautiful. Oh, I can't even begin to tell you how much I love it. Like, I'd love to go back. And their Christmas market's one of the best in the country. So, final little bit is, have you changed as a person? So has uni changed you, do you think?
I think maybe uni can change a lot of people for the, like, in a bad way.
Yes, completely.
Like, a lot of people, social aspect and stuff, but as I said, I always wanted to go to uni, so it was like a dream of mine. I think I've changed in a sense that I'm more independent. I do a lot more for myself now. I mean, you kind of have to be, you're kind of forced into being like that. And obviously, like I said, my grades are a lot better now. I'm more focused on my work and stuff than I was at A-level, because anyone could tell you that me and Charlie used to run riot in our A-level.
We had such a laugh, but it went towards nothing, did it, having a laugh?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's how I've changed. I don't know, Charlie, if you think any different.
I think, yeah, you've definitely changed, obviously for the better. I think that you're more self-assured. You were quite sort of, like, I think it's given you this massive sort of new lease of life with confidence. I think in that respect, it's just sort of you've just changed completely. It's just so amazing to see now that for someone that would probably overthink certain situations, you're now very headstrong, and you just, yeah, I think that's how you've changed. Thank God you're not one of those people that's changed in the sense that, like, you ended up becoming an absolute sesh head with, like, yeah, that's nothing. Oh my God, how have I not spoken about that? Basically, when I left uni, I left for 8 days because I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't my place. I knew that I needed to come back home and then just sort of reacclimatise, because you just sort of, I'd left school and just been thrown straight into uni. I didn't have that sort of time to breathe. But there was a massive, not drugs issue, I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but there was a lot of people doing drugs at this uni, which I'm sure a lot of people in other unis do. But I left on the Tuesday, I think. Yeah, on the Tuesday. On the Friday, someone had been permanently excluded and was told to leave uni for dealing drugs. Fine, happens. Stuff like that happens. I then left and basically had to advertise my room because I was no longer living there, and if no one took the room, I would have had to kept on paying it. And in this group chat that one of my uni friends was on, they thought I had left, or I'd been told to leave because I was dealing ketamine. Now, only in the past maybe 6 months I've realised how you actually take ketamine. I never knew you took it the way you do, but yeah, a rumour went round to a university. I'd been there for 8 days that I'd left because I was dealing ketamine. So that's a nice finishing note to end on, isn't it?
It's a really nice way of thinking of you, actually.
Pardon?
It's a really nice way for people to think of you.
Yeah, no, yeah. So when you finish this podcast, just remember, I'm the kid that was rumoured, actually, I'm not acting like it's actually like real life. I got rumoured for dealing ketamine. But yeah, that's the end of this episode. Thank you, Grace. You've been amazing. We must meet up
Thanks
sometime.
for having me.
That's okay. We must meet up sometime when Miss Rona has finished.
Yes, and you need to go back to Bath.
Yes, oh my gosh, definitely. 110% I'm coming back to Bath. So yeah, that's the end of it. Thank you so much, guys. Please leave this episode with a like or a comment on what else you want to see me podcast about. Please share this. Obviously, you can see, just share the link anywhere. It'll be on my Facebook, my Instagram, anywhere. So yeah, like I say, I always play a song at the end of my podcast episodes, and I've chosen to do Anne Marie because we always used to do our car vlogs when you drive me home. So this is Bad Girlfriend by Anne Marie. My name's Charlie, and you've been listening to All Things Life with Charlie.
You cancel plans for me, I cancel outs on you. Say I'll be back early, I don't get into two. You ask me where I've been, I tell you something vague. Think I messed up again, what can I say? Your mom said that she hates me, thinks I'm fucking lazy. Your friends keep on telling you to leave me cause I'm crazy. I do some shit you can't forgive, but you better get used to it. I'm a bad girlfriend, I'm a bad girlfriend. You told me your birthday, I forgot again. I'm a bad girlfriend, I'm a bad girlfriend. I can see you calling, I'm not answering. I'm laughing but I don't think that you're funny. I'm staying cause you give me all your money. I'm a bad girlfriend, I'm a bad girlfriend. Yeah. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad girl, girlfriend. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad